Thanks, everybody. I must say I'm grateful to be here with this community today. They say your vibe attracts your tribe, and I feel very lucky to have got to know so many of you lately. But I do wish we didn't have to be here because of an ongoing threat to our right to choose uncompromised health. I thought I'd take this opportunity to provide an overview of where things are at legislatively and politically for those who aren't fully aware. Some months ago, the social services legislation known as the No Jab, No Pay Bill was introduced to Parliament. This, of course, followed an intense media campaign that was completely one-sided, led no doubt by a person or persons who is far from interested in the truth, but most certainly interested in the massive income they generate from their pharmaceutical interests. It is important to be clear that where the government claim they are responding to public interest, they are in fact responding to that media campaign. Our politicians are mostly not educated on this matter, and nor do some care to be. There are, of course, some who understand the bigger picture, that there are risks with vaccination that need to be further investigated, that it should not be a one-size-fits-all procedure, and that babies and families should not be expected to take such serious risks with their health. They certainly shouldn't be expected to take one for the herd or for the greater good. But unfortunately, these politicians are in the minority, and standing against a party's policy would be to risk one's career and one's livelihood. Even a strong public stance may not be enough to urge our government to take a closer look. On the 17th of September, the No Jab, No Pay Bill was referred to a Senate inquiry. Over 3,000 submissions were received from the public, and the far majority was in opposition to the legislation for varying reasons. A public hearing was held on the 2nd of November, attended by many witnesses, determined by the committee as experts or representatives of large groups of people. I attended that public hearing and came away totally convinced that some changes will have to be made to the proposed legislation. There are just so many issues that need further investigation. These issues include health and safety concerns, the need for existing independent research to be considered, and the fact that we don't really know the incidence of the risks because reactions have typically not been reported. They include the flaws in the legislation that mean many medically contraindicated and high-risk children are not actually eligible for a medical exemption, and many people who oppose practices such as abortion and the use of GMOs who will still have the products of both injected into their bloodstream. The issues include the unbelievable flaws in the system, mainly the data collection gaps that will mostly affect many already disadvantaged people, and the fact that we don't have a vaccine injury compensation scheme. So at the moment, people who are left severely vaccine injured, the ones who literally take one for the herd, are left to deal with their devastation with no support. The issues also include social division. Researchers predict that this legislation will create further divide amongst communities and that the individuals who suffer most are young children. The other key issue raised is financial coercion. And again, I quote various witnesses in the public hearing when I say that this legislation has the potential to entrench disadvantage, create extreme financial hardship, and to result in the breakdown of families and businesses. You'd think that all of that would make our government stop and think. Think that perhaps we need to take our time, have a closer look, and examine the issues that we weren't previously aware of. But no, the Senate committee has chosen not to publish most of the submissions. In fact, you'll only find 550 of over 3,000 submissions on their website. The committee has recommended that the legislation be passed, and next week this most likely will happen. If that is the case, I urge you, do not concede defeat. This issue is an important one. It's about the health of babies, children and adults. It's about the fact that people deserve to know the risks of having a vaccine administered in the same way that they are told the risks of an operation prior to it happening. We need to continue to share what we know with strength and compassion. We need not tell people what choice they should make, but But we should help those who are interested by steering them toward the information that the system does not share with them. If nothing else, this Senate inquiry has shown us that we are not quite the tiny minority that the system would have people believe. We need not hide our choices. They are choices that were mostly made with a huge amount of education and consultation, and sometimes in the aftermath of extreme heartbreak. Back in March, Claire Harvey wrote, "Anti-vaxxers, you are baby killers." She went on to ask, would you kill a baby today? Would you put him through horrific pain? Would you take away his oxygen and let him suffocate to death? And then she claimed, well, if you haven't vaccinated your own children, you are doing all those things. To Claire Harvey, I say, the submissions to the Senate inquiry, many of which our government have chosen not to publish, include a plethora of both scientific opinion and parent experience that shows that vaccines have been the cause of those devastating consequences and more. What do we do next? We keep prioritising the health of our children. We keep speaking the truth, always in a respectful and compassionate manner. We help to educate those who are interested to learn more. And we build a relationship with each of our local MPs and senators, educating them over whatever time period it takes. Our friends in the media might have the financial power. We must continue to exercise our people power.